to the discourse and the conversations around Western influences in coups in Africa, and also the junta's posture, really, in all of this?
Well, there's a lot to talk about, with respect to the series of questions you've asked, but we need to put some things into perspective, okay? And it is important for all students of security to understand that it is not only the military that engages in coup. Civilians engage in coup, and that is called constitutional coup d'etats. However, you'd realize that ECOWAS is more fixated on the military takeover when civilians are equally doing the same thing. And I'm saying so based on what is clearly spelled out in the African Charter on Democracy, Elections, and Governance. Chapter 8, Article 23 is quite specific, and I'll read it. That 1. Any push or coup d'etat against a democratically elected government, any intervention by mercenaries to replace a democratically elected government, any replacement of a democratically elected government by armed dissidents or rebels, any refusal by an incumbent government to relinquish power to the winning party or candidate after free, fair, and regular elections. And the 5th one, any amendment or revision of the Constitution or legal instruments which is an infringement on the principles of democratic change of government. What is happening in Gambia? We all know how Adama Barrow came to power in 2017 when the Ajame refused to go. ECOWAS intervened, and in the end, the Ajame left. Adama Barrow enjoyed the first term, second term. Now he wants to go for a third term. What happened in Ivory Coast? We all know how Alassane Ouattara came to power when the country, descended into civil war between 2010 and 2011. He enjoyed the first term, second term. He changed the constitution, then went for a third term. And the same ECOWAS leaders were at the inauguration. What happened in Sierra Leone when Macky Sall wanted to go for a third term? Now, as we speak, the main opposition party has been disbanded. Osman Sonko has been arrested on very frivolous charges of invoking an insurrection, corrupting the youth, and even something as low as snatching the phone of a gendarme. What happened in Guinea when a lot of blood was spilled? What did ECOWAS do about it? Now, as we even speak, Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast wants his brother to go in. What happened to the opposition, Julem Soro and co? At a point, Julem Soro's plane landed in Ghana, and we refused to let him disembark because we didn't want to have issues with the Ivorians. So all of these fundamental issues is something we don't pay attention to. Now we want to go to war. And these are the repercussions. 1, Niger is a hotbed of terrorist activities. Al-Qaeda and ISIS-affiliated groups, they are all over the place. Indeed, the Americans and the French have been fighting them for some years now, including, in fact, to the extent of 4 Americans getting killed in the Tongo ambush in 2017. That created a huge political storm in the U.S. 2, going into Niger would mean going to war with our next door neighbor, Burkina Faso, then Guinea, then Mali. And you know what that would do? It would make the whole West African subcontinent chaotic. Ukraine, which is far from us, we've blamed the Russian invasion of Ukraine for the myriad of economic and social issues we have to contend with as a country. Now, you want to go to war next door. We just got an IMF bailout. With what money? How many soldiers is Ghana going to contribute? How many is Nigeria going to contribute? Nigeria that hasn't defeated Boko Haram yet. Besides, you even ask yourself, is ECOWAS democratic? Tinubu is still in court. There's no final determination yet, but we've been quick to give him the chairmanship. You see, so these are fundamental, hard-hitting, biting, bitter fundamental questions we have to ask ourselves. If really we want to deal with those underlying fundamental issues that would prevent the coups from happening in the first place.
Nana, internationally, what does it look like for us? Because the idea is, you know, Russia, Ukraine, and everything that happened after COVID brought us some unpalatable socioeconomic effects. Let's not forget that agric-wise, we are already feeling the pinch of Burkina Faso's turbulence. Now Niger, which supplies the bulk of our onions,